with you. Well, I got a feeling that you got a heart like mine, so let it show, let it shine. If we get a chance to make one heart of two, I just wanna dance with you. I wanna dance with you, twirl you all around the floor. That's what they invented dancing for. I just wanna dance with you. I wanna dance with you, hold you in my arms once more. That's what they invented dancing for. I just wanna dance with you. I caught you looking at me when I looked at you. Yes, I did. You know that's true. You don't get embarrassed by the things I do. I just wanna dance with you. Now the boys are playing softly and the girls are too. So am I, so are you. If this was the movies, we'd be right on cue. I just wanna dance with you. I wanna dance with you, twirl you all around the floor. That's what they invented dancing for. I just wanna dance with you. I wanna dance with you, hold you in my arms once more. That's what they invented dancing for. I just wanna dance with you. Oh, I just wanna dance with you. If you should ever think of leaving, don't let it go too far. The love of a lifetime, darling, that's what you are. And now that I've found you, I'll be counting on you to love me forever, 'cause I need you, honest I do. Every single day my love for you keeps growing more and more. The lips of an angel never kissed me before. And now that I've found you, I'll be counting on you. No man is an island, and I need you, honest I do. It took an awful lot of looking to find you. Oh, what a time I've been through. 'Cause darling, it's not very easy finding an angel like you. The two of us together, hand in hand, we stand at heaven's door. Together forever, I'll be yours evermore. And now that I've found you, I'll be counting on you to love me forever, 'cause I need you, honest I do. two of us together, hand in hand, we stand at heaven's door, together forever. I'll be yours evermore. And now that I've found you, I'll be counting on you to love me forever, 'cause I need you, honest I do. To love me forever, 'cause I need you, honest I do. Hair of gold, eyes of blue, prettiest girl I ever knew. Skin as white as precious pearl, she was my Tipperary girl. She just chanced to pass me by, pretty as a peach in a pumpkin pie, fresh as a flower in full bloom, sweet as a sunny summer's afternoon. I was smitten, got me good, never knew that Cupid would. Speared me down into my soul, spun me round like a batting bowl. Hair of gold, eyes of blue, prettiest girl I ever knew. Skin as white as precious pearl, she was my Tipperary girl. I was courting pure romance, asked her if she'd like to dance. Smiled at me as she took my hand, swung me round till I couldn't stand. Now she could dance, she could swing, like a newborn lamb in spring. Up and down and to and fro, round and around we go. Hair of gold, eyes of blue, prettiest girl I ever knew. Skin as white as precious pearl, she was my Tipperary girl. I fell heads and over heels, heart was jumping jigs and reels, twitched and twittered ill at ease, like the hound dog scratching fleas. Now young and foolish, old and wise, enter love with open eyes. Treat her right or from the start, that Tipperary girl she'll break your heart. Hair of gold, eyes of blue, prettiest girl I ever knew. Skin as white as precious pearl, she was my Tipperary girl. Hair of gold, eyes of blue, prettiest girl I ever knew. Skin as white as precious pearl, she was my Tipperary girl. must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You've been content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. Only a face without a name. I never once heard you complain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed that I've got it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. I would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? Everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my wings. I'm only human. I'm just a man. Help me believe in what I could be and all that I am. Show me the stairway I have to climb. Lord, for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking from you. Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus. and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me today, show me the way, one day at a time. Do you remember when you walked among men? Well, Jesus, you know if you're looking time, one day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you. Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me today, show me the way, one day at a time. Lord, help me today, show me the way, one day at a time. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, we have already come. 'Twas great amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. I have gone from sight, but I am waiting, waiting just beyond the rainbow's end. I'm happy in this place that I have come to, because I'm here with my forever friend. Now all your thoughts of me, let them be joyful, of things we've done and happy times we've shared. So don't be sad, dear ones, because I've left you. Please laugh and talk of me as if I'm there. Just look up in the sky, I am the sunshine. I'm the mist that rises on a summer's morn. I'm the gentle breeze that cools the autumn evening. When the birds sing in the trees, I am their song. This journey I have made, one day you'll make it. You too will be with my forever friend. It's then once more that we will be together. I'll meet you just beyond the rainbow's end. It's then once more that we will be together. I'll meet you just beyond the rainbow's end. Yes, I'm waiting just beyond the rainbow's end. Stand beside me, for if I should lose you, I just couldn't get anywhere. Stand beside me, stand beside me. You're the only one who ever made me care. I can't stand to think that I might be alone, not alone again. Not the way it was back then, before you walked into my heart, told me we would never part. So stand beside me, don't ever let me be alone again. Stand beside me, stand beside me, for if I should lose you, I just couldn't get anywhere. Stand beside me, stand beside me. You're the only when everything goes wrong. But darling, I won't care if I know you're standing there. No matter what we have to do, together we can see it through. So stand beside me, and I'll be standing right there next to you. Stand beside me, stand beside me. For if I should lose you, I just couldn't get anywhere. Stand beside me, stand beside me. You're the only one who ever made me care. Stand beside me, stand beside me. For if I should lose you, I just couldn't get anywhere. Stand beside me, stand beside me. You're the only one who ever made me care. Yes, you're the only one who ever made me care. Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Miracles, I guess, still happen now and then. Step into my heart, leave your cares behind. Welcome to my world, built with you in mind. Knock and the door will open. Seek and you will find. Ask and you'll be given the key to this world of mine. I'll be waiting here with my arms unfurled, waiting just for you. Welcome to my world. Waiting just for you. Welcome to my world. Love is a beautiful song. La 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 la. Love is a beautiful song. La 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 la. Love a new way of lovely as ever. It's so good to be alive, knowing that we are together. It's so good to see that love has painted the stars in your eyes. You're looking the picture of loveliness. You're looking a picture, my love. Love is a beautiful song. La 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 la. Love is a beautiful song. La 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 la. Love is a new way of living, a new way of starting each day. Millions of people all over the world know that love is a beautiful song. Millions of people all over the world know that love is a beautiful song. I don't want to be the one who hesitates, be too shy, wait too late. I don't care what they say other lovers do. I just want to dance with you. Well, I got a feeling that you got a heart like mine, so let it show, let it shine. If we get a chance to make one heart of two, I just want to dance with you. I want to dance with you, twirl you all around the floor. That's what they invented dancing for. I just want to dance with you. I want to dance with you, hold you in my arms once more. That's what they invented dancing for. I just want to dance with you. I caught you looking at me when I looked at you. Yes, I did. You know that's true. You don't get embarrassed by the things I do. I just want to dance with you. Now the boys are playing softly and the girls. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you must go, and I must buy. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shine. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. And if you come when all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I will maybe, you'll come and find the place where I am lying. You'll lean and say, Anna, babe, there for me. And I shall hear those soft you tread above me, and o'er my grave will warmer, sweeter be. Then you will kneel and whisper that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me.
Though her smile has gone forever, and her hand we cannot touch, we still have so many memories of the one we loved so much. Her memory is now our keepsake, with which we'll never part. God has her in his keeping. We have her in our heart. Sadly missed, but never forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here today in remembrance of a special person in our lives, Vera Joan Armstrong, or Mick, as she was affectionately known to all. On behalf of all members of the family, I welcome you and thank you for coming to this farewell. I also welcome those watching online, having been unable to join us here today. This funeral service serves many purposes. Of course, it is for the reverent farewell of Mick, but it also recognises the value of her life and confirms that life, one which was well-lived, has ended. It also helps those remaining to face the reality of her death. Mick was unique, a quiet, unassuming woman who worked hard, asked for nothing, and cared for all. Today, you will recall the experiences, the relationship that you shared with her. As we celebrate her life, you can take satisfaction that Mick has been and still is a part of your own journey. At the conclusion of the service this morning, you are warmly invited to stay on for morning tea and share your memories of Mick. Mick's niece, Susan, will now share her story with us. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Denise. For those who don't know me, my name's Susan Bollard, and I'm representing the Armstrong family on behalf of Mick's nieces and nephews. Mick's lifestyle and longevity was a testament to simple living. Born in July 1927 to George and Lily, Vera Joan was the youngest of their children. It was a typically big family, common at the time. Mick's first home was little more than a shack on the banks of Camp Creek. You can still see the location close to the intersection of the highway and Reservoir Drive. You can recognise it by the cascades of burgundy roses. There wouldn't be a time that Mick and I drove down the highway when the roses were in bloom and she'd say, "You remember that's where we lived." And then that would immediately follow with the anecdote of the family made the move to the farm at Quiggins Road, now Reservoir Drive, but Quiggins Road then. And Mick was only a toddler. She was very proud that she got to ride on the cart that day when all the others had to walk. And she described the furniture and the belongings going up onto the cart and her along with it getting transported up to their new home. The 4-room house was much simpler than it is today, but it's still the same location, still the same house. It had 4 rooms and a passage. Big family, but the boys got a room, the girls got a room, the parents got a room, and the 4th room, the inside lounge now, was for the rest of the family activities. Paid employment generally began for children at age 12 in those days, and it was the same for Mick. Mick commenced life, a life of service to others, and that laid, I think, the blueprint for her future. Mick never lost the resentment for her first employers, who made her wear a uniform every day. She had to be at their beck and call, night and day, didn't matter what time of the night they wanted something. Mick was woken up as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old to go and do their bidding. They had her under their complete control. She recounted the story about being forbidden to walk home on days off, even prevented from going home for a couple of hours on her birthday. These people lived less than a kilometre away from Mick's place, but in the way that servants were treated, that was the way that she was treated in those days. I'll just digress a little bit from my notes to say, one day she and I were driving out of Wynyard. We'd had some gaytime ice creams, having a nice munch going up the road. She stopped the car, wound down the window and absolutely just pitched the stick and the paper over the fence into a front garden. And this was not really Mick's style. Mick was a lady. But I said, "Oh, that was a bit unusual. Was there a reason for that?" And she said, "Yep." And excuse me, because I don't normally swear. She said, "They can pick up their own bloody rubbish from now on. I picked up their rubbish for long enough, so there's a bit for them to pick up themselves." And I think that was fairly typical of her attitude to life and times. Having auburn hair, the name Mick came very early on in her life from her brothers, who likened her and her hair colouring to Ginger Meggs in a cartoon. She became Ginger Mick. But another version of this story is that there were cartoon characters at the time, Pat and Mick. Pat is my mother, Mick's next older sister, and so they became Pat and Mick took that name on and wore it as a badge of honour forever. She never wanted to be Vera anywhere. It's just plain Mick, thank you. Now, Mick's employment over the years involved predominantly jobs associated with domestic service, a retail assistant position and a stint assisting the cook at the nurses' home in Wynyard. In those days, the nurses had accommodation adjacent to the Wynyard Hospital, and Mick spent a lot of her hours working there. All of these roles were predominantly focused on making certain that tasks were done for others, and her employment was dependent on the way that she did it. Do it well, you keep your job; mess it up, and you might be looking for somewhere else to work. I can remember Mick's very early start to days. She'd get up on cold and frosty mornings, sometimes in the dark, and she'd be walking down the flat at the farm, over the bridge, down to the garage, and it might be 6 o'clock, 6:15 in the morning, and some nights she'd get home in the dark. As the older daughters of the Armstrongs left home and they married, Mick stayed on to help Nana, Gran, to some of my cousins. And with the death of her father, George, who was a very old man, he was much older than his wife, Mick would have been a really big support for her mother. Life at the farm would have been both a challenge, as they were not rich people, and yet it sounded like they had fun as a family. She had lots and lots of stories of things that they did as kids. As she got older, Mick loved to go to dances in town with her sisters, Pat, Ruth and Kath, and her sister-in-law, Olive. Those girls loved fashion, they had fun, and they knew all of the gossip, typical of young women of their time. The farm, as we call it, was the place that everyone gravitated back to. It was the home to Mick, her brother Charlie, and to Nana. Jack, Dick and Ben returned on their leave from their respective jobs at the mine in Rosebery, the PWD bridge construction gang, and Ben from his travels. We never quite always knew where Ben travelled, but he travelled and came back always to the farm. Mick reminded everyone that there was always a bed at the farm if you needed one. When you'd leave at Christmas time or in January to go back to Melbourne, she'd say, "Now remember, any time you need a bed, there's always a bed here for you." Each summer, my Auntie Ruth and cousin Gregory would come to Wynyard for Christmas. So too my brother Jeffrey and I, with our mother Pat and our father Ron. Often other relatives, Uncle Bob with his children, Stephen's here today, and Bo and Jack Lynch with Kerry would be there too. There was always a big crowd. There were lots of summer barbecues down on the flat. We always seemed to have barbecues and salads and parties for 16 or 20 people. It was a really good fun time. Peggy and Alan, Bo and Jack's older children, also had a very significant role in Mick's life. Being a little bit older than us, they were spending a lot of time with Mick as they were growing up. Apart from visits to Hobart, where she worked for a while, and regular holidays in Melbourne, where Mick loved to go shopping with her sisters at Chadstone, Mick spent the majority of her life in Wynyard. In later years, when Uncle Jack's brother Arthur Lynch came to work on the northwest coast with BP, he began to board at the farm. Like she said, always a bed here for everyone. Arthur and Mick in time developed a lasting friendship. They became a devoted couple and they were together until Arthur's death. Life for the two of them revolved around Mick's love for her poodles, the cows, she didn't like to see them go off to the abattoir, the ducks, the chooks, and all sorts of other animals that might have wandered in. Early on, Mick had Biddy, a very mean-spirited sheep that some of my cousins might remember, and Biddy would bail you up on the veranda, and then after an hour or so someone would come around and find you because there was no way you're getting off with Mick's sheep Biddy. It had been hand-reared and it was terrifying. Each day her ducks benefited from the bag of leftover bread and scones from the hospital. An array of cats were always well loved. Some got to come in the house, some she wasn't so keen on had to live outside. They were normally Charlie's cats. Mick and Arthur gathered and cut wood as a pastime. They grew fruit, they grew vegetables, and they enjoyed that simple lifestyle at the farm. A visit to Mick's was a culinary treat. Huge meals. I don't think I'd ever seen so much food. Lots of spuds, because they grew spuds as well. Sumptuous desserts, my favourites, the trifles and the Christmas puddings. Toasted breakfast was special. Mick made green tomato pickle, she made chutney, she made jams. Morning and afternoon tea were also really special times. We had a sit down and there were always treats from the biscuit tins. They were filled with Mick's baking. No shop-bought biscuits there. Shopping in Burnie and Devonport were special outings in their very shiny and very resplendent Falcon cars. The cars were washed and polished each weekend, ready for the week, and they were immaculate. You could take them out for a show and shine without even having to think twice about it. One of Mick's biggest regrets was that she let her first Falcon get traded in. She loved the Venetians on that car. I think all of us that rode with her know that's knitted by Mick. I loved the mohair ones. She said they were really hard to knit, but they were so soft that she thought I needed soft mohair cardies all the time. So there'd always be a parcel from Tasmania and something new. I was speaking to my cousin Greg, who unfortunately is still on his way down from Launceston. He said everything that could go wrong this morning has gone wrong, so they're still on the road on their way here from Melbourne. But he had a jumper that was one of his less than favourites, bright orange and tan, beautifully knitted, worked in, and it got slipped away to me. I don't know why it's lasted. I probably got it when I was about 10. I'm 67. I've still got it folded up in the cupboard today. Greg said to me the other day, I think you can get rid of it now. I don't want to pass it on to my grandchildren or anyone else. But it was really fine work, fine knitting from Mick. In time, Arthur became the recipient of many beautifully knitted creations, and if you spent time with Mick in the more recent years, you'd know that Arthur had all sorts of amazing outfits. She'd have balls of wool left over, so he'd have ones with squares and diamonds and whatever she could work into a pattern for Arthur, that was her new fashion item. Mick had a couple of special penchants. One was for music, jazz records in the early days, and then she moved on after that to CDs, and then that's when the Irish music came along, Daniel O'Donnell and all sorts of crooners. But before COVID, she and I had an afternoon up there one day, and she said, I think we'll put the records on. And I went out to get the CDs, and she said, no, the records, they're CDs. And I thought, okay, stupid Susan. So good-o, we got the records out, and I said, what do you want? And she reeled off all the jazz artists that she wanted to hear played on the old vinyl records. So we had probably an afternoon of 6 or 7 of her records, and I'd go to just swap another one, and she'd say, no, you haven't played the other side yet. So we'd whip it over, and she thoroughly enjoyed her music. She also had a very special penchant for building, and I say that with a smile. The house today looks very different to the one that I described earlier that she lived in as a child. To begin, a section of the veranda at the front was walled in as a sleep out, became Mick's own room. Next, the canvas awning that was put up every summer for the influx of visitors on the veranda became enclosed, and then later became Arthur's room, a sleep out. My dad, Ron, always had his holidays planned out for him by Mick. The small single-pane windows were replaced by the large ones by Dad to give views of the paddocks. Next, come over for another holiday, she decided timber linings for the house. She was fed up with the dado boards and having to do the dusting all the time, dust collectors, she said, so everything had to be covered up with internal linings. Next, the animals were getting in around her flowers, so she had planned for Dad that he'd make a cyclone fence. I don't think Dad had ever done half the jobs that Mick had him do, but he did them with good grace and with aplomb, and they're still there now, so he must have worked it out as he went. In time, Arthur was persuaded to build concrete decks, and the concrete decks in time became rooms. They were walled in. He built paths, but every path Mick decided needed covering, so there would be a perspex awning built over them. And then next, a variety of sheds, ironing rooms and other outdoor buildings. Mick always had big building plans. If she could find time and someone to build it for her, she'd do the building, even down to the stage in latter years of deciding that it was time for the weatherboards to go to save Arthur painting and the house should be bricked in. Mick was always kind to us as her nieces and nephews, and Stephen told me yesterday how much he enjoyed living at the farm for a while. He was lucky enough to be a permanent resident there for a while, and that meant that he got to share really good fun quality time for an extended period there. Mick encouraged naughtiness in both pets and children. In many ways, she was a nonconformist. She liked to challenge authority in the establishment. She was also very stubborn. You didn't want Mick to have a set against something because you would never get her to change her mind. Some topics like the monarchy, particularly Princess Diana and Camilla, were ones to avoid. So too, comments about the government, definitely topics to stay away from. Her years of living at Yarrandoo were not pleasant ones, no matter how much the staff tried to help her to feel comfortable and to make her settle in. Alison, and we're lucky enough to have Alison representing the staff today. Alison in particular tried so hard to keep Mick happy. She spent a lot of time chatting with Mick and knew Mick really well, but Mick always plotted an escape. I had to convince her that the wrist bracelet that set off the door alarms was actually a Fitbit and explain what that was. And I said they monitor your steps all the time, so they just check in to make sure that you're getting enough exercise each day. So I said, keep doing laps around Yarrandoo and you'll do really well with the Fitbit. I think she would have been horrified if she had realised that it was her Fitbit that was setting off the alarms when we went out the front. Her final days were comforted by her teddy bear friends and my cousins who visited regularly. The teddy bear friends had personalities of their own. She particularly liked the way the talking and movement activated ones would frighten the staff at night if they barked or spoke. And I can see Alison smiling. There was many people at Yarrandoo who were not at all impressed that I would buy Mick these toys, and if you could walk past them and they'd bark at you, Mick loved them even more. If they'd say something to you, and some of them could be programmed, even the better. And they would go off night and day just to keep the staff on their toes. I will really miss Mick, as will my cousins and her wider circle of relatives and the many friends that are here today. Gary in particular has spent a lot of time with Mick over the last few years when she's been at Yarrandoo, and he's done a sterling job of giving her the on-ground support that those of us who live further away couldn't do. So Gary, thank you so much for all that work that you did. Mick was the last of her generation. The Armstrong family started with convict origins of Richard and Julia. From them developed a large and respectable family, stoic workers and achievers. George Armstrong and Lily O'Keefe, Mick's mum, nurtured their children, including Mick at Wynyard. Mick is represented here today and online by the next generations. We will miss you, Mick. Go well and be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. What do you think Mick would be wanting right now? Maybe these words sum it up. I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I'd like to leave an echo whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright and sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun, of happy memories that I leave when my life is done. When a life is lived over 95 years, many highlights and memories can be shared. Susan has compiled a photo montage showcasing Mick's life, which we will enjoy now.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday crown. Oh, the old rugged cross, so despised by the world, has a wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left his glory above to bear it to dark Calvary. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. Old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame, and I love that old cross where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last. Oh, the old rugged cross, so despised by the world, has a wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left his glory above to bear it to dark Calvary. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old
Beautiful memories. Reminded me of some parts of my childhood and my family, especially streamers onto the Empress, was it? The Empress? Yeah. As you are aware, Mick will be cremated following this service. It's now time to place flowers on her coffin and say your quiet farewells. So when you're ready, please come forward.
I'm only human. I'm just a man. Help me believe in what I could be and all that I am. Show me the stairway I have to climb. Lord, for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking from you. Just give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may...
All those many years. There is no pain, I suffer not, the fear is now all gone. Put now these things out of your thoughts, in your memory I live on. Remember not my fight for breath, remember not the strife. Please do not dwell upon my death, but celebrate my life. Would you all please stand? Tenderly and reverently, we commit the body of Vera Joan Armstrong, Mick, to the elements and ultimately to Mother Earth, from which all life comes and to which in the end all life returns. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We are grateful for the life that has been lived and for all that life meant to us. We are glad that she lived. We are glad that she was part of our life. We cherish her memory, her words, and her deeds. We recall the influence she had upon us, and we will be forever grateful for a life that has been lived simply and stoically. Thinking of Mick as we leave, let us resolve to live a life of real worth, conscious of the things that really matter in the way that she has shown us.
So weary when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. Sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. And I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. More than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.